This podcast contains explicit content.
What it do?
What it is, soul brother?
What's going on, eh?
This podcast is hardly focused.
What's going on, man?
About it.
Dissecting the news, one tangent at a time.
When there's nothing left to burn, you have to set yourself on fire.
Morning, Mike.
Oh, hello. What are you glued to, Cameron?
Just your screen, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. What do you do for a living, Cameron?
I'm a carpenter.
A carpenter, right. So how safe is that for the climate?
Well, I work with timber, which is a much more sustainable material rather than concrete. I also
But you work with
retrofit-
trees that have been cut down then, don't you?
It's a sustainable building practice.
How is it sustainable if you're killing trees?
Because it's regenerative, you can grow trees.
Right. Well, you can grow all sorts of things, can't you?
Well, you can't grow concrete.
You can. See you, Cameron. Cheerio. That was Cameron. He grows trees and then cuts them down and then makes things from them. Brilliant. Marvellous. I don't think I ever want to talk to any of those people.
I'll talk to any of those people. Welcome to Hardly Focused with Nate Fillers, Jack Gill, Aadam Clegg.
Yo.
In the studio with me, and Nate in his bunker. You can find us at hardlyfocused.com. We are on your favorite podcast app. We are on YouTube. Just search all those places for Hardly Focused. Aadam, thank you for being here.
Of course, man.
And Nate, thank you for being wherever it is you are.
I'm keeping you boys safe.
Let's jump right into this. Off-air discussions.
Crushed it.
Let's jump right into this. Nate, artificial intelligence.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah. It's. Have you done
Magnets.
How do they work?
Yeah.
Nate, have you fucked around with the Lensa app?
Not yet, but I've signed up for like a lot of the other ones. And what's going on right now is there's a huge debate on like who owns what, because essentially what it's doing is it's like taking bits and pieces from other artists' work. And some people are even seeing artist signatures within their own work. Like, and it's like, oh, where the hell are these coming from? And it's just sparking like an interesting debate in the artist world of like, you know, what's happening to art? Is it stealing? Is it because like some people argue like, oh, it's just bits and pieces of it. It's just like a new tool. And other people are like, dude, this is totally screwing over artists all over the world. And it's just getting weirder and weirder. There's all different types of AI that's coming out recently. And I just was interested in what your opinions were on it.
Now, are you creating art that you're finding is getting ripped off and used in these apps?
So what is happening is it's sampling things from like Pinterest and like other art websites, and it's just actually like taking little like snippets of it to like create what it's doing right now. So some people have reported that they see like DeviantArt stuff, like where like a person from DeviantArt signature is like in the background, but it's not their work.
Okay.
And it's just like, oh, it's clearly going to that person's DeviantArt account and like, you know, taking from it and just kind of going accordingly. So people are like, is this stealing? Is this, because like it's not, it's really weird. I don't know exactly my stance on it yet. That's why I wanted to talk about it, because it's something completely new, but at the same time, like it's making like caricatures like way more affordable.
So I feel like sorry,
go ahead.
I feel like for me, this is pretty cut and dry. Like, I just think of hip hop and how hip hop artists have been like cutting up other people's music and using it. So I feel like it's pretty easy to say that we should probably treat it the same way we do sampling someone else's music. And I guess if I'm not mistaken, you can only use so much of a person's music before they get rights to it, right? Isn't there like a free use thing?
I've heard so many different things about that. I've had people in the recording and radio industry tell me that you can use up to like 30 seconds and it's okay. And that's how I've operated. But then I've heard other people say like, no, like even if you want to use a millisecond, you have to seek permission.
Right.
There's an interesting documentary about girl talk, and it's pretty good.
What is girl talk?
Girl talk is essentially like just what you explained, like just pure sample based like music, just taking little snippets from everything and creating something completely new. But they were talking about like the legality of doing that because a lot of artists, Lars, from Metallica, just don't like their stuff being used in any sort of way without being compensated.
They're always trying to sample my snare drum, man.
Yeah, right.
It's so strange because I'm on the same side as you as music goes. There's like tons of music programs out there that are like generating music based on AI inputs, which are crazy, by the way. Like you can put in like a snippet of like the very intro of Mario and see what it does with the rest of it. And it sort of does complete the song in like not the same melody, but like in the same style. And it's just like really weird. And you're like, oh, I recognize the instruments and everything, but it's not the same progression that Mario usually does. So it's trippy, but I mean, it's a tool and it's making it so much easier for people to make art, which I'm all for. I just think it's a little weird because like I've always kind of not known where I stand when it comes to who owns what, because like, yes, I feel like everything should be free, but also, you know, artists need to make money and it's complicated.
There's an app that I learned about on Reddit where I guess like you input the name of any band and it will attempt to craft lyrics in the style of that band based on like songs that they've released. So like someone did that with the Gaslight Anthem, for example, and they like what would AI do writing a Gaslight Anthem song? And the results were it wasn't anything to write home about, but it was like it was coherent. It made sense. It could be a song. It like not necessarily a number one, but like if like some amateur songwriter, for example, were to come out and say, hey, this is my first stab at this, you could say like, wow, this is really good. You find out that AI did it. Wow, that's mind blowing.
How great would it be if the Gaslight Anthem took that AI song and actually played it live? They were like, yeah, it's pretty good. We'll play it live a couple times.
Brian Fallon comes off as such like a dick, but like the good kind.
Okay.
Like the one that's funny, the one that like he's busting everyone's balls and like you don't care. You want him to make fun of you, right?
The class clown.
Yeah, so he'd be the type to do that, to take an AI generated song and be like, wow, this is much better than anything that I could ever write. Here we go.
Bit of a troll job.
Yeah.
I like it.
And keep in mind, this is like the early stages of it, like as in terms of it being so public. So it's only like, and we as humans love to see how we can push and bend certain things. So it's just going to get crazier from here. I mean, like, look what's happening with like deep fakes. At first, like the technology was like super crappy. And you're like, oh, that's clearly like, it's just garbage. But now you're like, oh no.
Yeah. We're literally getting to the point where Skynet is getting closer and closer to a reality.
I'm looking for that camera, but find it off. I'm supposed to be here.
Exactly.
So I kind of, I hope that AI producing music and art kind of brings us back to the core of like what art is, because I feel like money has shaped art in its various forms for a very long time. And in the same way that like robotics are making it so that less people have to work, I think that AI could really bring about like bringing art back to what it is, which is like a an expression, right? As opposed to like pop music, for example, where they're doing everything they can to make dollars.
Yeah, do something that people like.
Yeah, so I think that hopefully, probably not in our lifetimes, but 100 years from now, whatever it is, maybe art will change for the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how optimistic you are. Because I feel like as humans, we really do fuck shit up a lot. And like, that's what we're good at. I do have hope that it's going to be like that. I think the two things that are kind of complicated about this is that, where's it pulling from? Like, is it pulling from like what the expectations set by society are? Like, is it pulling by just everything? Like, is it really pulling from every single source it can possibly get? Because if it's just pulling from like what's popular, it's just essentially recreating what society wants, and it's not really art. It's just being essentially what you were talking about, just, oh, this is popular, I'm going to make this because it's popular.
Yeah.
So it's really, I'm assuming that it's taking a little bit from everywhere, so we'll have to see how it comes out, but it's really weird, especially coming from an artist. Like, it's good and bad, I guess. I don't know.
I bet it's half and half. I bet it's half and half, just because what's popular is part of art, whether we like it or not, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So you have to consider that.
Now the Lensa app too, that's been, I haven't tried it yet because
you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Oh, you do? I thought
it's like $8 for like 10 pictures or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And like $40. I could look it up. I got my app.
Damn,
my phone on the app.
My friends are all rich then, because I'm seeing this shit popping up everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, $8. Come on. I mean, I spend that on lunch.
I'd love to have $8.
You do too.
You're right, I do.
With inflation,
you can almost get
definitely
verified.
Yeah, that $8 is the new dollar menu,
right?
But yeah, the Lensa app scares me in that, like, what happens with all of that stuff that I'm providing, like the images that I'm providing, like, it just, something about that is just striking me as like, this is going to get used against me in the future. Yeah, porn. Yeah,
it's all going to porn.
Something will be done about whatever image I provide them, and there's got to be some privacy concerns about that. I just feel like it's not all. It seems like it's fun and games now, but it truly is not all fun and games.
I doubt
there's always going to be that.
I doubt AI is like logging into your Apple account and pulling your nudes and then making, making art with that, or making AI porn with it.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
My friend Danielle, who I've always known her to be quite voluptuous, but she jumped on that Lensa bandwagon, and boy, did the AI have fun with that.
Oh yeah.
Do you ever see the film Weird Science?
I don't think I have.
Like the computer chick.
Yeah, but remember when they're making her, and when they get to the tits, and they're just like, they're experimenting with the different sizes, and they come to the conclusion, like, you got to have something that will like fit in your hand. Too big, and it will, you risk a sprained wrist. But the AI had fun with Danielle. All of her pictures. Look at them like, Danielle, these make you look incredibly stacked. That AI is taking liberties.
How did she respond?
Oh, she loved it. She thinks it's great. She shared every photo that it made.
Nice.
But I've also seen some of these creations come out where people have like 3 arms, or the AI just decides you don't need 2 eyes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like kidneys, you only need 1.
Yeah. I saw one where somebody had 3 eyes. Yep.
So that's
cool.
Yeah, it's trying. I think it's, if this came out like 10 years ago, it probably wouldn't be anywhere close to accurate like it is now. But
yeah, it's got a lot to pull from.
Nate, what was this thing you sent me on Messenger about the Simpsons?
Okay, so this is the other part of AI, because like there's AI for like everything now, and I just became I just logged into this program where you give it like a prompt and it writes a little snippet of a story. I'm still trying to test it out because I literally 2 seconds before we went live with this, I signed up for it because I heard about it and I was like, this could be a fun segment. You feed it a little snippet of a thing, and then it makes a little short story.
Ooh,
like a sentence or so. Like
Are we going to do that?
People do way longer. Oh, there's a maximum length. That's probably what it is.
Are you gonna make us a short story right now?
I mean, it depends. What would you like a story about?
Well, I guess how long is the story going to be? We don't want to be here all night, right?
I have it set to 416 characters.
Okay. Can you share with us the one that you did about me?
I don't have that one anymore. I because I reset it to. Okay. Do you want me to? I'll just make one right now.
Well, you sent me a screenshot of it too. Unless you want me to. I feel like it's not going to sound as funny if I read it out loud.
You're probably better at reading it.
I'm not. You know me with reading.
You're the better reader.
Okay. All right. It's about me, but I'll read this. All right. Here we go. The prompt was Jack Gill in a Simpsons episode. In the season 8 episode, The Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie Show, Jack Gill appears as an animation director hired to make the new character Poochie more appealing to viewers. He is voiced by David Herman.
Who is David Herman?
Michael Bolton in Office Space.
He's a voice actor.
He is a voice actor. He plays like a bunch of like one-off characters on King of the Hill. Like if you watch any episode of King of the Hill, you'll see his name in the credits. But he's best known for playing Michael Bolton in Office Space.
Okay.
But now see, this is very straightforward, almost generic, I would argue, because it's picking arguably one of the best episodes of The Simpsons, the Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie Show. But it's so great to know that I am an animation director that was hired to create Poochie.
Catch you on the flip side, dude, masters.
Exactly.
I created Poochie. I am responsible for the downfall of Itchy and Scratchy.
Wiggity, word up. Rock on, party.
I just think it's amazing that it like got the names right. Like, I feel like Dave Herman does stuff on The Simpsons as well.
He probably does.
He's got to.
And Bob's Burgers. Like
he does Bob Burgers. He also does Futurama.
And I think Office Space is like one of the few like live action roles he has to his name. He's more into voice acting. It's always weird when you see a voice actor who does a live action thing, like Phil Lamar in Pulp Fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
Yeah,
John Benjamin. He had a show for a while.
Yep.
I feel like he's been on shows too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Voicing the same character, just doing the same character.
Yeah, I mean he basically is all of his characters. Like he is like, you know, Bob and Archer, and like he just is that guy.
Well, even on like characters on Bob's Burgers, when he's trying to change his voice up, it's still so obviously him.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, you're just Bob changing like his voice an octave, like Bob pretending to do the voice of a kid. Shut up.
I'm trying to remember the first one I heard him on. I want to say it's something like Home Movies.
Oh yeah,
Home Movies.
That was probably like his like breakout role, but that was Lauren Bouchard too, right?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
it was what's his Brendan Small.
Right, all right,
and yeah. So like Brandon Small went on to do Metalocalypse, and then John Benjamin went on to do like Archer and
yeah.
Aadam, do you want to do something? Do you want?
I love doing things.
Make like a story about you, or you become something like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you want to be when you grow up, son?
Yeah. How do we do this? I'll let you guys take it and run.
All right. So I'll type in Aadam becomes a world famous what?
Stenographer.
I was going to say adult film star, but stenographer seems like it's the safer bet.
Put stenography on the map.
Puts a stern in her ographer. What?
Ooh.
All right, just give me 1 second.
Okay. You're not typing out the whole story, right? You're letting
no.
You're letting Skynet do it for us.
Honestly, I'm just making sure I spell stenographer right.
Keys clacking.
ST ernographer.
Yeah. All right. I will post it in chat. And
do you want me to read it out loud again?
Better at reading.
All right.
Yeah, dude, I don't have a screen.
I'm dyslexic. I'm dyslexic.
I can kind of sort of see you over there, but
is my mic stand? I'm trying to adjust my mic arm so it's not like.
Oh no, you're fine.
Okay,
you're fine.
I just want to make sure you can see Nate.
I kind of can, yeah, but I mean, he's never gonna see unless I look directly at the camera. He's never gonna.
I know.
See that I'm seeing him.
I know. In this wonderful post-pandemic age in which we live, the studio is like no longer like optimal for having people within. I love having people here, but like at the sacrifice of having screens they can look at.
Yeah.
Remember the old studio, the old setup? Like there was a screen that everyone could gather around, and I could show off my whatever gobbledygook I was showing people. I can't do that now.
What happened?
Just COVID happened. People stopped coming over for the podcast.
So the screen got COVID and
the screen got COVID and it refused to get vaccinated, and now it's gone.
Okay, that's what I figured.
No, what I'd love to do is like set up like a TV monitor in here and just like bolt it to the wall.
Yeah,
and like link that, hook it up to the computer, and have that be a mirror. So like all you'd have to do is like look up at wherever it is, and you would see everything. That would be great. It's just I need to have people here frequently enough to justify it.
Right.
Anyway,
did you get it in the chat?
I did.
In the Zoom?
I did. That was some good filler. Nate fillers.
Just enough.
Okay.
He's filling.
Here we go. Aadam could become a world famous stenographer by honing their skills. Turns out you're non-binary.
I'm okay with that.
Studying the latest technology and trends in the industry and networking with other successful professionals. They could also pursue additional certifications and degrees in the field, such as a degree in stenography or a certification from the National Court Reporters Association.
Oh, wow.
By attending conferences, seminars, and other events to stay up to date on the latest developments in the industry, Aadam could become a well-known and respected professional in the field.
I mean, it's boring, but it did a good job.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense.
Stenography, so
it was safe. It was being safe. It was a little like a little too much to the point, but no. I mean, I was expecting like I was expecting this to just be a disaster.
No, it's like a legitimate thing. It's
Aadam
crazy,
could be
man.
famous.
I like that's like Aadam could be a stenographer by going to college and getting a degree in stenography.
Right.
You don't say, really.
Interesting. Go on, AI. Go on.
Yeah. Have you ever seen those Twitter posts? They're like, I forced a bot to watch 1,000 hours of like Star Trek, and this is a script that it generated.
Yes.
And it's just broken English.
Yes, I have read a couple of those.
It's like Picard puts the naked turkey in the transporter.
Oh, wow. So I did put Aadam becomes a world famous porn star, and it gave me a content warning.
Ooh, that sounds familiar.
I don't. Should I post it?
Yeah, post it. Let's do it. I'm interested.
This podcast contains explicit content.
You said the thing I was going to play. He knows what's up.
Hit it anyways.
All right. Do we have it, Nate? Did you send it?
I put it in the chat.
Okay.
I don't know how bad it is.
Trigger warning.
Here we go.
This podcast contains explicit content.
While it is possible for someone to become a famous porn star, it is unlikely that Aadam would become one.
Not good enough.
Wow, the AI is just like
5 at best. 5 at best.
Well, I tried.
Hung though.
Hung, he says. Porn stars tend to have a certain look, experience, and skill set that Aadam may not possess. You're too ugly to do porn, dude.
It remembers the first thing that we put up. He was like, he's a stenographer. Let's be real.
Stenographers don't do porn.
That's funny.
Additionally, becoming a porn star requires a lot of hard work, dedication, and networking, which may be difficult for Aadam to achieve.
I thought I was good at networking.
That was the exact polar opposite of what the last one said.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, the last one had said if you attend conferences, seminars, and other events, you could become a well-known, respected professional.
It's literally the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The last one said you could become a stenographer by studying the latest technology and trends and networking with other successful professionals. Whereas becoming a porn star would be difficult to network. I love it. This is great.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, it's pretty coherent.
You're too ugly to do porn. I love it. Thank you, Nate.
Oh, no problem.
Oh, that
It's
was
fun,
wonderful.
right?
That was great. Thank you for sharing. All right.
I was really hoping you paid for some lensa AI photos that we could throw up on screen.
Yeah.
I was really I was hoping.
I don't think anyone in our circle here has done that. The only person I think that might be crazy enough to actually spend money on this is Kate, and I should actually check to see if she's done it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, you can like Venmo me.
Had I known, before I walked in the door that we were going to talk about AI, I definitely would have paid for it, and it would have been a great little talking point.
I don't know if this matters, but I don't have any male friends that have done this. It's only been females.
Yeah, a friend of mine. I'm not even sure where he lives. I met him through a Facebook group for one of my favorite bands, but he lives somewhere in the U.S. and he did it.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, that's the only male that I know who did it.
Is he the one who had the one eye?
No. It was a female.
Okay,
that I saw. I mean, all the girls are doing it, right, Cooper?
Yeah.
Surprised they didn't give her like 3 boobs like the chicken. Is it Total Recall that has the 3 boobs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I first thought it was like Fifth Element, but no.
That is so that's something just like weird to think about. Where like, if it's just 1, like no, thank you. If it's 3, no, thank you. But if it's 2, then it's just right.
What about 4? Yeah,
I think
2 sets of 2.
I think it's just got to be. I think it's just got to be 2, man. I don't think we can do anything more than 2 or anything less than 2.
What if there's 4, but you only are allowed to look at 2?
Oh,
Yeah, like 2 on the front and 2 on the back.
Oh, that's a good point. I don't know.
That's the future, baby.
That's like that. I mean, we're lifting stigmas at this point. But it's like Leela in Futurama, right? Like she's got 1 eye,
Yeah,
but she's got 2 boobs.
she does.
Think about that.
I mean, she's still symmetrical.
Is it weird that like I find, and I'm not into this. I need to preface this by saying I'm not into this.
Oh
stuff.
boy, here we go.
But Leela is pretty hot. Francine Smith from American Dad is really hot. And in some situations, like Marge Simpson is really hot. But like, I can't. They always have to be wearing some degree of clothing, or even like censoring themselves, because you just can't animate anatomy.
What about Lois?
Hit or miss.
Yeah.
Have you seen the show Big Mouth?
I have not.
You have not.
No.
Okay. Are you a fan of
Nate,
Nick Kroll?
Nate, did you say you have?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
Are you a fan of Nick Kroll?
Yeah.
So before I get into this, I say this a lot, and you probably haven't heard me say it, but a lot of people think I look like Nick Kroll.
Okay.
And it drove me nuts. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy, Nick Kroll? I hate him. I hate him so much. But then I realized that he's really funny. And now I like him. But earlier, when I didn't realize that he was funny, I did not like him because everybody thought I looked like him. And I was like, fuck that guy. But anyways, it's his show.
Okay.
And it's animated. There's a bunch of big names on it.
Okay.
Ton of people that you would recognize. But it's a show about kids like going through puberty. And what's really strange about it is there's nudity, animated nudity, and it's just really weird. Like as an adult, looking at animated nudity of children.
Yeah.
So it's not like they don't try and sexualize it in such a way that you're like, ooh, like children, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're learning about like their bodies.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. So like there's some nipples and some penises and but again, they're kids. Okay. So but it's just really strange. And it's a little jarring the first time you see like, some animated child nudity.
It has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's awesome. Yeah. It's really funny.
Well, I mean, we saw Bart Simpson's dick in the Simpsons movie, so for like
really?
3 seconds, yeah. So it's just, I'm just weird about like animated nudity. Like I know there's a market for that. There's a lot of people that are into that shit, but You're not going to find me trolling for that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not for me either. Like I know a lot of people love like hentai or like looking up like their 2 favorite characters just pouring in out,
wailing away at it.
Yeah. But it's just like
some Family Guy porn.
It's strange, right? Because like I have the thought of like, well, this is obviously fake, but like, what else is porn? You know?
True.
Like,
I feel that.
Still, I mean, like, it's still fake. It's like, but I don't know.
Nobody has sex like that if nobody's watching.
That's one of my like. I love reading like Ask Reddit threads about like, they're always just something straightforward. Like, what should everybody know about sex? And one of the top the top comments are always the same things. There's always going to be smells and sounds. Just get used to it. And then porn is not a good like resource. It is not a good teacher for what like a sexual experience should be.
Oh yeah.
Porn is like the complete antithesis of that. It's like wrestling.
Yeah.
It's fake.
Yep.
It's all faked.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people out there that don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Like this gentleman, when he was told that porn is not real.
It's still real to me, damn it! I mean, thank you.
Easy, man.
Have you ever heard that?
No.
Oh, I'm so happy I finally loaded this into the soundboard.
Next question, Jeff. Where are you? Right there.
Yeah. I just want to thank each and every one of y'all for all you've done to your bodies. It's still real to me, damn it! I mean, thank you.
Easy, man.
Thank y'all guys. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Funk, for saying what needed to be said. I don't want to see another one of these.
This is that's real?
That is real.
Oh my god.
It's not about porn, by the way. It's about wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Did you actually think it was about porn?
I thought it was about porn. I was like,
so
oh
too.
my god.
Oh, no shit. Yeah, some wrestling superstar died, like, I think this was like 2008, 2007, and there was some like...
Chris Benoit?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a Q&A, and this one guy just... he went viral because of his passion for wrestling.
That's amazing.
I should have told you.
Oh, yeah.
You should have just kept going about
You should have
porn.
let it run. That would have...
I thought you were going to play all gas, no breaks.
Convention. Any one of those? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What was that? The AVN Expo? Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
When your big, beautiful butt cheeks are being held, do you like them parted or do you like your hips held to where the booty just flips back and forth over the big penis?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, you have to see the video. We'll do this on break or whatever. But
okay.
the facial reactions of the host is just amazing. Just like,
I had sex with my friend during the scene that they had sex because we wanted to practice what they were doing. We were in elementary school.
Well, that's not what you're supposed to do. Do not try to replicate what you see on screen. Okay. Let's regroup and I don't know. We'll see what happens. That's the easiest thing to say. Stick around. We will be back.
You know what happens when you leave a pound of raw hamburger meat in a car in the summertime?
You are listening to Hardly Focused.
This podcast contains explicit content.
Hardly Focused.
I would like to begin this episode by telling you guys what a stupid asshole I am.
And it's different from every other day of the week because...
Hey, we're Hardly Focused with Nate Fillers, Jack Gill, Aadam Clegg. You can go to hardlyfocused.com on your favorite podcast app on YouTube. Just search all of those places for Hardly Focused. So there's a film that just came out very recently that you can find on HBO Max. It's called A Christmas Story Christmas. It is a sequel to A Christmas Story. And Christmas Story plays on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day for 24 hours on both TNT and TBS.
as it should, as the Lord intended.
And A Christmas Story. Now it's all based off of a book by a guy named Gene Shepard, and the book is called "In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash." And there's several. It's sort of like anecdotal, autobiographical, but it's a whole bunch of short stories, and one of them is what got turned into A Christmas Story. Now there are several plays and television films that were based off of this book, but A Christmas Story became the most famous. And then there are sequels to A Christmas Story that came out. There was one called My Summer Story, which is terrible. There's like an actual Christmas Story 2, which is also terrible. What I'm saying is that only A Christmas Story is like the most respected. Everything else just isn't. But there is actually a lot of media out there about the Parker family, Ralphie and Randy and the old man and the mother. So A Christmas Story, Christmas is the actual direct sequel, I guess, what now in this era of retconning everything where we're discounting other sequels that have happened. A Christmas Story, Christmas is the true sequel because it has all of the, almost all of the original cast from A Christmas Story. They were all child actors in 1983, and now this film in 2022, it's all the same cast, it's all the kids, but they're all grown up. A lot of them hadn't even acted in years, and they were brought back to reprise their roles. And it's actually really good. I went into it expecting to hate it, but it is a very good film.
Interesting.
So and it takes place, so the original Christmas Story takes place, it doesn't specify, but it's supposed to be like 1939, 1940, and the sequel is 1973, I believe. And it's one of those things where like, it's not immediately obvious that it's in the 70s because it's just the way everybody looks now. Mm-hmm. So to give it away that it takes place in the 70s, they gave all the male characters sideburns. Every single male character has like very pronounced sideburns.
Interesting.
So that's how it's supposed to be established that it's the 70s. But so one of the most famous characters from A Christmas Story is the bully, Scut Farkus, who's played by an actor, Zack Ward. No relation to the Zack Ward that we have on our show. They physically couldn't look any more similar. But Scut Farkus, oh boy, did I hate him growing up. Oh, I loathed this character. I just wanted to beat the crap out of him, and I will always watch when Ralphie finally snaps and beats the shit out of him. And Zack Ward reprises his role as Scut Farkus in the sequel. Now, I want to say it had to have been 2011, maybe 2010. I'm at Rock and Shock in Worcester, which is a horror movie pop culture convention that happens every year. And Zack Ward was one of the guests there. And I went up to his table and didn't hold back. I said, "Hey, how you doing, Mr. Bonaduce?" And Zack Ward looked at me. Bonaduce! He looked at me and just said, "Wow, fuck you, dude." And I was like, "Oh, come on!" Like we kind of got into a little riff there, and he was literally telling me to fuck off and go away. He wanted nothing to do with me. I pissed him off.
Wow.
And I did it genuinely because I'm like, dude, you were Scut Farkus in A Christmas Story, and I fucking hate Scut Farkus. So by proxy, I don't like you. Now, he was on a show called Titus with Christopher Titus, and he played like the dumb younger brother, and he was funny on that, but like didn't really absolve the fact that he was Scut Farkus. So anyway, the sequel to A Christmas Story comes out. And without giving any spoilers away, I was actually pleasantly surprised at how they portrayed Scut Farkus. So I mustered up the courage, I bit my tongue, and I sent him a tweet. And I believe he's at Total Zack Ward on Twitter. And I said, using the Hardly Focused Twitter account, I said, "Many years ago, I met you at a convention and greeted you with, quote, 'Hi, Mr. Bonaduce.' Bonaduce! You got very upset. I did it out of my hatred for Farkus, but after seeing the new Christmas Story, I recant and apologize. Great work in the new film. Also, we have our own Zack Ward." I was running at characters. I didn't want to send multiple tweets. And he actually responded.
Whoa.
Zack Ward. And he said, "Apology accepted. Glad you like the film."
You're famous.
So Zack Ward and I are cool. He forgave me for calling him Danny Bonaduce.
I wonder if he remembers.
I wonder how many people come up to him and say, like refer to him as Bonaduce. Like,
so
confuse him
can
with
you
Bonaduce.
explain to me why he would be upset about that?
Because he's a white guy with red hair, and he's very physically well built, and so is Danny Bonaduce. Bonaduce also is like known for kind of being a psychopath.
That's the kid from Pete and Pete, right? Is
Partridge Family.
Partridge Family.
Yeah. You're thinking of Danny Tamborelli.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Look, dude, if I was Zack Ward, I would take that as a compliment because I love Danny Bonaduce. I think he's great. The guy's a maniac, but I love him.
That's funny.
Zack Ward, if anything, Zack Ward looks like Johnny Clegg.
Okay.
So picture like Johnny Clegg.
Okay.
I think like Zack Ward would probably actually take the compliment if he was compared to Johnny Clegg.
Well,
just without the without all the tattoos.
I was going to
and
say
drug problems. But
that guy.
But yes, the actor who played Scut Farkus and I are cool. So I guess I can sleep well at night now.
They should make a movie based on that.
Yeah.
A nice little holiday movie of what you just went through.
Pump that into the AI. See what comes out.
Oh, can you do that?
What am I doing?
Oh, just do like Jack Gill and Zack Ward.
Well, is it going to know who Zack Ward is?
Well, I want to know how the AI does it if you just give it something vague like that. Because when we did this earlier, we gave it like something to work with.
Right.
Nate is now, there's nothing for it to work with.
Right.
So I want to know if it's just going to come up with a story.
I feel like it might know Zack Ward. It's definitely not going to know you, right? I mean, I don't mean to be a dick about it.
Depends.
But, are you in the news? Are you in pop culture? I feel like it's not going to have a lot to pull off of. And I imagine there's quite a few other Jack Gills. You're not the only one in America with that name, right?
Did you know there's a stunt director that works in the film industry named Jack Gill? And his name's he's in the credits for like every major film.
Interesting.
Yeah. He's like the stunt guy.
That's
I have a feeling when this guy passes away or retires, like the stunt I guess industry or whatever you want to call it is going to they're not going to know what to do. But people do message me and they're like, oh, I was watching Avengers and your name came up in the credits. Like, yeah, it's because I share a name with this stunt director.
I don't share a name with anybody cool. As a matter of fact, my last name is I feel like it's super uncommon. Like, I have never met another Clegg that I wasn't related to.
Your name is interesting in that you've got duplicate letters everywhere.
Yeah, my name begins and ends with double letters.
Yeah, 2 A's and then 2 G's.
Yeah,
and not many people. I've never met another Aadam that had two A's.
Me neither. I've met another Aadam that had 2 D's. As a matter of fact, I've met 2 of them.
I knew one, but it was his last name.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, both of these guys it was their first name. As a matter of fact, the local Whole Foods.
Don't you mean Spags?
Yeah. Yeah, he works in the meat department.
Okay.
He's like the head of the meat department, and his name's on everything because they do that.
Well, isn't technically the Aadams family that had 2 D's in it?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I've known people that had like a Dan with 2 N's or a Glenn with 2 N's, but very rarely do you ever see something like Aadam, for example. Do you get people going "Hey Aadam"?
Oh my God, all the time.
All right, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
you fucked up. Hey Aadam. Yeah, is it? Yeah, hey Aadam.
Hey Aaron.
Yeah, that's it.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Yes, people do that to me.
I saw a commercial with a bunch of cartoon characters, and it's what's his face in it reprising that role and like doing the same thing again.
Oh,
except
really?
Now he's just effectively yelling at like actual children and making fun of their names.
Balake.
Zach, whoever you are, Nate.
Hi. So it generated this, and I'll read it this time.
Sick.
An error occurred. Either the engine you requested does not exist, or there was another issue processing your request.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
Please contact us through our help center at help.openai. I think you need to give it like a thing. You can't just say like 2 names.
Okay. Yeah. Jack Gill apologizes to Zack Ward. I don't know. I mean, I feel like if I give it, I'm going to be like fucking telling it a story.
How long does it take to generate these?
Like instantly.
Oh, cool.
Like,
Dude,
it's just like
that's what's
unless
scary.
like unless it's like a weird thing and it's like, see, I think what it's having a problem with the last names. I think I have to just put up. Okay, you want to read this?
Yeah. All right.
We've got something.
It did it.
We have a story.
Weird.
We got a story. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, it's so weird.
It's a letter. Ah, wow.
It
Wrote
a letter.
Jesus. This is like what my last job wanted me, what the HR, my last job wanted me to do. And I'm like, fuck you.
Apologize to them.
Apologize to certain people for things. Okay, here we go. Dear Zach. Dear Zach, I want to apologize for my recent actions. I know that I failed to show you the respect that you deserve and the respect that our friendship requires. I understand that I've hurt you, and I want to express my sincere regret for my behavior. I can only hope that you will forgive me and move forward with our friendship. I value your friendship and want to work hard to rebuild the trust that I've broken. Thanks for hearing me out. Sincerely, Jack. Okay, look, that's
wow.
If you actually like fuck up and need to apologize to someone, use that.
Now.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's well written.
That's creepy now to think like.
I'm going to need a copy of that next time I need to apologize to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem like a PR like.
Yeah, like a canned response.
Yeah, like a canned response.
I am sincerely sorry for my actions.
That's what PR. That PR has just been using AI this whole time. That's what it is.
That's so funny. It even like wrote it out in like the letter format, like on here. Like it took a minute because it didn't know what to do with your names, but it was like, yep, it looks like a letter.
I'm surprised it didn't give you like, it was like the letterhead, right?
Yeah.
And the whole the whole to do.
That's crazy.
So
there's like a lot of things that you can do like on the side. I haven't even like looked at, and there's tons of stuff you can do. This is I don't know what temperature is. Controls the randomness. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
So you can control the randomness.
Nice.
So like, yeah, it's.
I mean, I feel like it couldn't hurt to crank that up.
I just want to see it just fail. I just want to see it fuck up.
Yeah,
and just
I feel like it's funnier when it's a little bit nonsensical, you know?
Yeah, like you end up reading it out loud and it goes so far off the road, off the path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This down east is fire, by the way. It's delicious.
The donut flavor.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll drink it, but it's really good.
Yeah, so now it wasn't my first time going there, but recently Becky and I went to Total Wine, which is right down the street from Spags.
Hang on, before you continue, your significant other's name is Becky. Name is Becky.
Becky.
Yeah, my girlfriend's name is Becky too.
No shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Whoa, my significant other's name is Lexi.
Dude, it's the same name. That's great.
Becky, and Lexi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to Total Wine and holy shit. 2 hours went by and it felt like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
30 minutes. Like it did not feel like we were in there for that long. Like you just get lost in there.
Yep.
You just looking at like I don't even think we looked at anything but beer. We didn't go to like the wines. We didn't look at the hard liquor. We just looked at beer.
Oh, they have
maybe you just love her a lot.
liquor
Do you ever
collection.
think about that?
Yeah, you're saying I have a problem?
No, you're like times flew by with her for some reason.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know why. Like,
look at this stage. Like if time didn't feel like it was flying by, then something would be horribly wrong. Right? Let's just say in my last relationship, time definitely was stretching out, and there's a reason why it's no longer a thing. But
you know what they say? Time is fucking stupid.
Yeah,
that's what they say.
They do.
But there was this group of definitely college-aged individuals who are, I would assume I'm going to assume they were of legal age to purchase alcohol, but who knows? And they were like looking around, looking at everything, looking at the crafts, looking at the ciders, all of that. And then these motherfuckers decide, let's just buy a 30 rack of Keystone.
Oh, I knew it was coming. As soon as you said it was young kids, they were like, we're going for the bargain. We're going for the bargain.
Like, I get it. Like, I get why Total Wine would sell, but like, why? Like, why go to Total Wine and buy And buy Keystone. Why do that?
Yeah, I mean, you can get that at your average package store.
Literally anywhere. Yeah. You know, so I've been into the cider, ciders are good. I like ciders, but I've been into seltzers.
Okay. I like seltzers. I like a good seltz.
Because I'm super picky about beer, and I've always been picky about beer. But I've definitely found ciders that are too sweet. But I haven't found a cider that I keep saying cider, I mean seltzer. If I say cider, I'm talking about seltzer.
Okay.
I'm very good at articulating. I haven't found a seltzer that I don't like.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone I've had so far I've enjoyed to some degree.
What about original flavor?
There's no flavor. There's just booze.
So,
essentially beer.
So growing up, like, my parents wouldn't let me like drink soda.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we have seltzer. If you want something like that, you can have seltzer. I'm like, okay, cool. What do we got for seltzer? And it was Polar unflavored seltzer. Because my father liked to make like mimosas, like, you know, and just add that to, you know, whatever concoction. So it's like, yeah, you can have this. I'm like, there's no flavor. I'm like, okay, deal with it.
My parents always kept fizzy lifting drinks in the house, and I always wanted soda. I was like, what the hell is this stuff? I don't want to just float away. I want, like, you know, actual soda. I'm a kid.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I thought that like Mike's Hard Lemonade was still like okay to drink. I didn't realize I had like liquor in it. It had alcohol.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I remember being at like a party that like my parents brought me to, and I picked up like a bottle, like an unopened bottle of Mike's, and like immediately like 4 adults swarm me like I'm Ronald Reagan with someone opening fire. And yeah, you can't drink that. I'm like, but it's lemonade. No, it's not. Adults. But it says lemonade. I thought hard meant that it was extreme.
Yeah, you're looking for Mike's Easy Lemonade.
Mike's Cool Lemonade. I thought it'd be cool. So, yeah, Sonic is it Sonic Drive-In, the restaurant? Like, is that technically the name?
Like the fast food place?
Yeah. Because if I say Sonic, people always assume I'm talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. Because
that's immediately where my mind went.
Watch out! You're gonna crash! Ah!
But yeah, the restaurant Sonic, they actually make their own line of hard seltzers that are flavored like their slushes.
What? How did I not know this?
Very sweet. Very, very
There's
sweet.
like no Sonics around here.
Yeah, if you want
to Peabody, right?
Yes,
There's
that one is
Peabody.
still there. The one in Lawrence closed. There's one in one of the various Smithfields in Rhode Island, and then Springfield if you want to go out there. So the last time I actually went to Sonic, I actually drove out to Springfield. I was like, I will make the trek because I really wanted Sonic.
Fair.
But yeah, they literally just put the syrup into the seltzer.
Okay.
And it's good, but like the lemon, for example, like just go into it knowing that you're gonna have a horrific sugar high when you drink this. So.
I feel like those like high sugar drinks that have alcohol in them just like tear through your stomach. Like you just don't feel right after you have one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I really like Not Your Father's root beer. Have you ever heard of that? It's delicious, but you can't drink a full one. Like you'll die.
I haven't had one of those in a long time. When I was but a young lad, because Nate, you might remember this back in like my parents' house when we do the podcast, just out of like respect for them. I actually waited until I was 21 to start like drinking.
Oh, really?
In the house with them.
Okay,
I remember that.
Fear of God, I guess. I don't know, but
the Lord.
Yeah. I waited until then. I remember like one of the first things I indulged in was a case of Angry Orchard because I discovered Angry Orchard. I really liked it, and I polished off a whole case of it.
Okay.
In one evening. Oh boy, did I feel ill.
Yeah.
Not drunk. It was not drunk sick. It was the amount of sugar and syrup that I ingested.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of eating like 2 bags of like Reese's miniatures.
Right.
I think I don't think I was like throwing up, but I was on the couch for the rest of the night, just like I can't move. I'm in so much pain.
I feel like that cider is not like processed naturally too, right? Like that, or Angry Orchard's such like a macro beer or whatever you want to call it, macro cider, that it's probably not made like than the normal way you would make a cider.
Right. Ace though is very good. That's like liquid Jolly Ranchers, and I will take that to my grave.
Oh God, Jack, you just unearthed a buried memory.
Jolly Ranchers.
So I was in Boy Scout camp, and they had a slush puppy machine, and this is the first time where I had access to the slush puppy machine myself. Like, you know, like the liquid, and then you put it in the thing, and it, you know, and I'm thinking, dude, slush puppies are fucking delicious. I just want to get just a full cup of just syrup. And so I think I did that with, I can't remember what flavor. I think it was like watermelon or something. I just like and paid for it, and then just like took a big sip.
Oh no, that sounds awful.
And it was the worst experience that I had ever had with something sweet. I was just like,
yeah.
I thought it was going to be like really good, but
may I say The Simpsons did it?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The super squishy. They go to the Quickie Mart and they get a squishy. It's made entirely out of syrup, and then they go on a bender. Bart and Millhouse. And then Bart wakes up the next day hungover and realizes he joined the Boy Scouts.
Everything's connected. Yeah.
All right. Why don't we do this? Why don't we regroup? I do want to talk to you about music, but I have like a few things that I want to talk to you about.
Talk
specifically.
To me. Let's talk.
I mean, Nate, you're cool too.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'll just hang out.
Okay. I love you, Nate.
Nate dog.
Me too.
All right. We will return. Stick around.
You are listening to
I Keep Pooping During Sex.
Hardly Focused.
This podcast contains explicit content.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Hardly Focused.
I've been playing for the first time ever Yoshi's Island, despite Baby Mario just being goddamn annoying and not cute in the least. That is a fantastic game.
You are listening to Hardly Focused.
It still really does trigger PTSD.
Yeah, and you and I don't have kids either, so like we don't have to listen to the real.
I was gonna say I hear the real thing, and I'm able to tune that out now.
So you know what you do, Mike? It's simple. When you got your kid who's crying and screaming, just throw eggs at it.
Eggs that you've processed from random Shy Guys.
Yeah.
What do you think I've been doing?
Hear more at hardlyfocused.com.
Hey, we're Hardly Focused. Jack Gill, Nate Fillers, Aadam Clegg. You can get us at hardlyfocused.com and wherever you listen to the podcasts. Aadam, you are in a band called, you're in two bands. You're in Chase the Past.
That's correct.
And then you're in Agador.
That is also correct.
And Agador dropped an album recently.
Yeah.
That was in development for a long, long time, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Did we drop that before or after the last time I was on?
It's in between episodes. I think it was you, if I remember correctly, you had a release date.
Okay.
But it was not yet out.
Yes.
And now that it's been out, how's the reception been on that?
Pretty good. Our Spotify Wrapped for artists was pretty good. We were in like, I want to say 60 different countries or something like that. And
nice.
Multiple thousands of listens on Spotify. So,
nice.
I mean, for a local band, I think, it's been received fairly well.
That's great. Oh, yeah. Congrats, man.
Thanks.
Now, Chase the Past, the last time you were here, you had an Emo Night show coming up in Worcester.
Yeah.
And that is, it's been a while. It is come and gone, but I was there. And
yes, you were.
It was really, really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys, I mean, all the bands that played that night were quite adequate, but you guys especially were great.
Thank you. Yeah, we had a ton of fun.
Yeah, that was for me, if I may make it all about me, that was my warm-up for Riot Fest, because I was going to Riot Fest the following weekend. So that was sort of like my warm-up for that.
Okay.
That's how I treated it anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever been to Ralph's for a show before?
No. Okay.
It gets insane.
It does.
Never used the bathroom.
No, don't.
Never ever use that bathroom.
Nope.
I'm pretty sure I took a leak on vomit.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially so our show. I don't mean to toot our own horn, but our shows are some of the biggest there. There's a couple other bands or events that happen that are a little bigger, but that one, especially when we can do it outside. I mean, we don't actually play there indoors anymore. It's just not worth it. But yeah, I mean, it becomes a mess pretty quickly.
Yeah. Next time I'm there, I'm gonna just bring an empty water bottle with me. I think we have to do that.
Yep. So the
not
other
to dig the venue. It's just I learned something that night.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if the upstairs was open to the public or not.
Okay.
But if it were, I mean, you could have tried to go upstairs and use those. I mean, not that those bathrooms are like much better, but at least there wouldn't have been like a ton of puke.
Well, I knew it. Now I just dealt with it, right? Because I'm like, whatever. Like, it's not gonna. Sure, it's seared into my mind, but like it didn't bother me because I'm like, whatever. But I leave and I walk out, and there's a dude waiting behind me. He goes into the stall, and as I'm walking out of the bathroom, I just hear, "Oh God!" So, but yeah, your set though was absolutely phenomenal. And what surprised me is that the Armor for Sleep cover that you did.
Yeah.
And you did it like right. It was within the week of them dropping like their first new album in well over a decade.
Yeah.
Which was quite unexpected for them, but that was great. And then it turns out you had no familiarity with that band outside of that one song that you cover.
Correct.
Yeah. You got to check out at least their album, What to Do When You Are Dead.
It's off the one we play is off that album, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like a concept album, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep. It's a concept album about suicide.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude kills himself, and then it's kind of like a not a memoir, but like a note to his girlfriend or his family or something like that.
Yeah. A lot of the songs are just about like him. I don't know if it's like regret, but like him trying to contact them and realizing like, I'm dead. I can't.
I fucked up.
But I gotta say, there's no better. I mean, there's some really good songwriters out there, but there's just like Ben Jorgensen coming up with In a Car Underwater with Time to Kill. That's fucking brilliant, dude. That is a great line. That whole album is great, but that line especially, like, it's just everything is just so well written. But they kind of also got like that. Yeah, they're an emo band, but they sort of got the reputation of like, hey, do all of our songs now need to be about death and suicide? And but their new album though was great. It's absolutely great. It was I think it was one of those like unexpected products of quarantine and something they weren't planning on doing, but they ended up just getting together and putting an album together and releasing it.
Mm-hmm.
You also did a brand new set.
Yeah. Did we play two? I don't even remember anymore. We did a medley.
Yeah.
We did a medley. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. Love that. We've had that in our back pocket for a while. We've performed it a few times. But it's always really interesting. I vaguely recall ranting about it for a minute after we played it. It's just really interesting playing brand new. We try not to talk about it too much just because of the kind of bad press that brand new has received. But so we played a show in Salem.
Okay.
Maybe a month or two before that, and people went nuts when we played that medley. The whole place, like front to back, went nuts. And a bunch of people came up to me afterwards and were like, that's so awesome that you guys play brand new, yada, yada, yada. And I feel like when we played it at the Emo Night, like response was like kind of lukewarm.
I saw people going nuts when they heard it.
Yeah.
I kind of knew it was already coming.
We talked about it, right?
Yeah. Like you told me, so I knew it was coming. The people that I was there with got very excited. It definitely seemed like a sort of a 50-50 response. I don't think it was so much people saying, "Oh, brand new, no, gross, iggy." I think it was more just people not realizing, like, maybe not recognizing the song.
Yeah, I think it very well could be that. That's kind of like their freshman album, right?
It is. Yeah.
It's definitely a throwback, and I feel like they're most well known for Deja.
Yes. I think if you launched into, I'm not saying you should, but just I'm saying, like, by comparison, if you launched into like Sick Trans and Gloria, I think everyone there would go bananas.
So we don't do that song, but we do Tommy Gun.
Nice.
And it's funny because that has such a like subdued beginning. Half the guys in the band don't do anything, and they hate playing the song because of that. It's like, yeah, I gotta wait 2 minutes before I can do anything. I'm just standing around scratching my balls while you and the guitarist go off. So yeah, they find it boring. But I think so. Our next show, which isn't officially announced yet, but I guess I'll kind of announce it here. It's February 11th at Electric Haze. We were supposed to play a show on December 3rd. At Electric Haze, and we just weren't prepared. We couldn't do it, so we had to cancel. So we moved it to February 11th. Point being is we're going to play Tommy Gun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tell everyone just deal with it. Tell everyone in the band to deal with it. The crowd's going to love it.
Yeah. No, they know that it's a favorite for sure. We played it out for a while and took a break and haven't played it in a while. So
now Electric Haze is in downtown Worcester.
Correct.
Have you performed there before?
We have.
Okay.
This will be our third emo night there.
Okay.
Don't use the parking lot across from it unless you pay.
It's true.
It's crazy bad.
Yeah, you sound like you're speaking from experience.
Well, I frequent the Vernon, which is right next to it, and like the tow truck, I feel like they have like some communication with the meters or something.
X-ray vision.
When mine expired, they were in the parking lot with a tow truck getting ready to tow my car. And I ran into my car, closed the door, put the key in, and drove away. I'm like, haha, you can't get me. But
you ever can't get me. Nice.
It's like, I think like the Electric Haze even says like, don't even bother using the lot across the street because they are ridiculous.
Well, good on them, because trying to find parking anywhere in that part of Worcester is a nightmare.
Yeah, especially with Woosocks going on.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely kind of hurt. And the parking lot's not finished yet, right? That's the part that drives me nuts. Like, why open the park if the parking lot's not open yet? Who thought that was going to be a good idea?
Money.
It's really
wild.
Bad.
Yeah,
it's
so
wild.
All of the meters they used to be like, at 7 or 8 o'clock. Who cares?
Right,
you're fine.
Yep.
But now it's like you can only park there for 2 hours.
Yep.
And then they'll tow you.
Yep.
It's like, dude, what the hell?
I lucked out. I went to the Worcester Public Market a couple of weekends ago on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So A, free parking. But B, I parked right in front of Wings. There's a spot right in front of Wings, and I got it.
Nice.
These things don't happen in Worcester. If you're not familiar with the area, especially in that Kelly Square area, good luck.
Did you park on the like Water Street side or the?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like it's the one way going away from Kelly Square, going away from the Peanut. Yeah.
Yep.
How do you guys feel about the Peanut?
Oh God, I like it so much better than what was there before.
It's definitely better.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to compare anything to Seven Roads.
Right.
Coagulating at one intersection with 2 stop signs.
Yep.
Anything is better.
Yep.
Yeah.
Death is almost better by comparison. If you ever look up for the uninitiated, if you ever look up like worst intersections, not just in America but in the world, Kelly Square in Worcester shows up on there. Now it's outdated, but it was up there and it was really high up on the list. It was like number 2.
Yeah.
Maybe number 1.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad.
But now, thanks to Polar Park, they turned it into 2 roundabouts, as they're called.
Roundabout.
The Peanut, as we call it, because it's 2 of them.
Yeah.
But it's so much easier to navigate, so much easier to get around.
Yeah. Even on foot, it's easier.
Yep. Have you been to the public market yet down there?
I went once, like right when it opened, and I feel like not everything was open yet. Maybe I'm just imagining that, but I feel like all the things that are there now weren't quite open yet.
It's really nice. Yeah, everything's open there now, and it's just I've only been to. There's a donut place there.
Yeah,
where they're kind of like Rocco's Donuts, where everything. It's just like you just get like an oversized goo-filled donut.
Goo-filled.
Oh, but it is so good.
It's not jelly, it's goo.
Nate, have you been there yet?
I have not, but good-filled reminds me of Van Wilder. Anybody?
But,
No?
I'm going to guess in a different context, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Here's a semen-filled donut.
Yeah, that's what the prank was. I think that's what that movie was.
I never
that's
saw
like the
Van-
only thing I saw for. That's the only thing I remember is like they pranked a bunch of dudes and like one guy bit into it. He's like, "Oh, it's still warm."
Oh,
I never saw that. I never saw Van either. I think there's 2 Van Wilders. I never saw any of them. So, yeah.
So goo-filled donuts. Cool.
Goo-filled donuts. There you. Try to fit that in somehow to the next emo night.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
See how the crowd reacts to that.
Yeah, I feel like they won't like it, but we'll give it a shot.
There's no. I mean, you don't have to give context behind. You say goo-filled donut. I mean, some people are going to actually expect there's going to be like jelly donuts there.
What if I just slide it into the beginning of a song, like "Goo-filled donuts, let's go," and then they just start.
I like
one's
that.
Dedicated. This song's dedicated to goo donuts.
Yeah.
Change lyrics in songs like when you're doing Tommy Gun. Like
we do that a lot, actually.
I'm a goo donut. Don't
Specifically
you
with that
dare
song.
forget.
Specifically with that song. Yeah.
Do people notice when you do that?
No, we only do it at practice. I'm trying to remember. My drummer loves this one. What is it? I'm trying to think of the lyrics. It'll come to me in a minute.
Okay. But you only do it at practice. You don't do it during the live shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
You got to do it during the live shows. I want to know if people like. I got to play something that people are going to get really into because I'm assuming you have people that mosh during the shows.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the last one, right?
So my gripe about that show and it being at Ralph's is that it was pitch black.
It was dark.
So it was hard to see really anything. There was just the amount of lighting around there was scarce.
So there's a bit of a reason for that.
Scarce.
So,
however you want to pronounce it.
Scarce.
Scarce.
It was scarce. No, so there is a bit of a reason for that. So my understanding is the sound / lighting guy wanted to do a lot more. But the second band who did All Time Low,
yeah,
they had this elaborate setup with like almost like a professional what do you call those things? I don't know what the hell they're called. They had like in-ear mics and like all this stuff. So he had to set up, he had to spend like an extra hour and a half setting up, like getting all of their stuff ready.
Okay.
And to be honest, like I love those guys to death. They've done some really good work with us. But they definitely slowed things down quite a bit. So even before they played their set, I don't remember if you recall, but they're like, before the second band started, there was a really lengthy changeover time.
There was, yeah.
And it's because I think 2 things. One, they had some issues with that setup I was talking about, and I think the bassist didn't bring a cab, so.
Oh Jesus!
Classic bass.
Yeah, so they were like running around like last minute, like who has a cab? Who has a cab? So yeah, there were some issues, some technical difficulties that made it so that there was less lighting.
Oh jeez! The first show I ever played with my band, I felt like a dick because I forgot to bring a tuning key for my drums.
Oh, that's whatever.
Yeah, but I felt like I was inconveniencing the drummer from Power Glove, like.
Power Glove.
Can I borrow your tuning key? And he was like, "Whatever you need, man." Like I gave me a hug, and I'm like, "I'm such a disappointment."
I've been there.
I see what happened is the band that played before you. Someone came out like, guys, this bowl has brown M&Ms in it. We can't perform. We need to go through the writer every line one by one. There's going to be a disaster here. You didn't follow it to a T.
God damn it. Yeah. So there were some technical difficulties related to the second band, and I've lashed them already. They've had several lashings.
Like Aadam literally like showed up at their individual homes and beat the crap out of them.
Whipped them. Yes.
Whipped them.
They picked their own Switch, and then I beat them with it.
This
good.
Well, it was a great show. It really was a great show. I said it was for me. It was a warm up for Riot Fest, just to kind of get myself in that mentality of being in a sea of people.
Yeah,
it was packed.
Yeah,
it had a really good turnout. All the bands had a really good turnout.
Yeah, I want to say we had about 400, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
for attendance, and it's hard to gauge that because at some point they stop charging, and of course people come and go, so it could have been more than that.
How's it feel knowing that like while you're performing on the adjacent, like the rooftops of adjacent buildings, you have people like standing up there checking you out?
Dude, how cool was that? I was blown away. I
really cool.
I kind of geeked for a minute about it, and like I was like, oh, show must go on. But I remember seeing them up there, and I was like, oh my god! And what's really cool is Becky's friend.
Your Becky, not mine.
My Becky's friend. Those were her friends.
Oh, okay.
Up
Nice.
there. So she received Snapchats from that point of view of our show.
Nice.
I was like, oh, cool. I would have killed an infant child for for those Snapchats, to post those. It's just so cool.
Now I'm assuming this is the first time that's ever happened.
No, yeah, well, this is the first time we've also it's also the first time we've ever played outside at Ralph's.
Okay. All right.
So maybe it'll happen again, maybe not. But I think that's the rooftop of WPI. Or one of the WPI buildings.
Yeah.
Not like the WPI, but...
Do they have apartments over there?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I could be wrong about that, but that was my understanding is that's a WPI-owned building. I don't know what they do in it.
If I may paraphrase...
It's in the area, so yeah.
You're right, yeah.
I think so.
Oh, how many colleges are in that area?
Well, I mean, it's right next to it, so
right.
It probably was WPI.
Yeah,
yeah, and I got to say, like, what a perfect night too.
The weather was amazing.
The weather was amazing. The moon looked really cool, and like there was just a little bit of cloud cover, so that it was like you kind of had these like those like those moments you'd look up at the sky and like there's like a little like a light clouds over the moon, and like it's like it just looked really cool.
Yeah,
it looked really cool. So.
Well,
I love the moon.
I mean, I gotta give a shout out to my friends Jen and Krista. I think it's been about 10 years since I've seen Krista, and probably since my high school reunion I've seen Jen, but they were both at the show and
Jen Foreign, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've spent the whole night with both of them.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was just like there were so many people around that like so there was them, and I was really excited to see them. And then there were so many people that I'm like, they were friends on Facebook, and like we just kind of like stared at each other and then never interacted once. We just kind of looking at each other like, I know you.
Yeah.
Anyway, 'cause that's how it always goes.
It's weird because I feel like when I'm around that many people, like even people like I didn't even recognize you for a minute. I think we walked by each other a couple of times.
I went up and started talking to you, and I feel like it took you about 10 seconds before you realized who was talking to you.
Yeah. No, I like, you got a lot going on. You got a lot on your mind. You're like it's game time, you know, you're trying to focus and yeah, it's just, it's wild. You're not the only person I did that to, and I apologize.
No,
but,
you're fine. I knew that was going to happen. You're literally the front man of like the last band that's playing. Like people are coming to see you. There's going to be a lot of people stopping you,
right,
to talk.
Right.
I was amazed that you were just out there walking around.
Yeah. Well,
I wasn't expecting to see you, and let alone even say hi to you.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, what do? They don't exactly have a green room,
Sure.
So what am I going to do? Hang out in my car the whole time? And, like part of me wants to see the other bands and, hang out with people who came to see us. So yeah, you'll usually find me, lurking around at our shows.
Yeah. Go inside, go up to the bar and wait 30 minutes for a drink.
Yeah. Yeah. So they definitely gave us access to the upstairs, which is normally where the shows are unless they're outside.
Yeah.
So they were like, yeah, you guys can go hang out upstairs. There's bathrooms up there, blah blah blah. I'm not sure if they let other people up there, but they said we could. So
I mean, I'll give my props to the one bartender that was working that night. I mean, she was doing what she could, but that was definitely, you needed at least two other humans behind the bar that night.
I told them several times. I said, you guys are going to need extra beer, and you guys are going to need extra hands giving out those beers. And to their credit, they did listen, but it wasn't enough.
Right.
So they don't normally, so that outside area right before the front door, if you're looking at the front door to the right, there's like that metal hut, and they had a guy selling beer there. That's not usually there.
Yeah, I think I ended up getting something from him. I think I got like a White Claw or something because I realized that after the fact.
Oh, that was there?
That was there, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
so.
I will say that the crowd inside, like everyone inside waiting for a drink at the bar, like you could tell everyone was starting to get impatient, but they weren't dicks about it. Because I remember I was there for like, I'm not exaggerating when I say 30 minutes, waiting 30 minutes. And at one point, like I finally get up to the bar and a bartender lady looking around for who's next, and two different people pointed at me like, this guy's been here for a while. I'm like, holy shit. People at Ralph sure are friendly. This is great.
I feel like half of our crowd is regulars who like our music, and then the other half is people who never come to Ralph's. So
I hadn't been in so long.
Yeah,
I really hadn't been in so long.
So the
parking lot is great.
Yeah, right. It's what a great place to park.
I parked at the Fix.
That's the way to go.
Yeah,
that's the way to go.
I took a chance. My car was still there.
It's not. I honestly, it's not a chance. You did you can do that every time.
Nice.
I've never seen anybody get towed from there.
Nice.
I left my car there overnight before. So.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always weird when like I go there because to visualize it for people, obviously because everyone listening right now is from Worcester. They know exactly what I'm talking about. This great restaurant, The Fix, across the street's a parking lot, a pretty ample size, but it's got a gate.
Yeah.
And I think I've only ever seen it staffed once, and it threw me off that there was a guy in there. Like he gave me a parking pass, a ticket to get validated. I'm like, what the hell's happening here?
Yeah.
I thought this was just here for show. It's always empty.
Yeah. So I think he goes till like probably 6, maybe 6 or 7, and he's always smoking cigars. It's always the same guy.
Okay.
He's kind of fat, kind of a douche, and he smokes cigars. And I don't know. I guess I don't like the smell of regular cigars. So every time I drive by him, I'm like, ugh.
God, that was like Axe father. Like I love Axe father. Axe father is like my own father. I love him like I do my own father. But he smokes cigars. And the first time I remember 10-year-old me meeting his dad for the first time, and I just got a whiff of cigar.
Yeah,
because he's a cigar every night, a cigar smoker.
Yeah,
and I just got a whiff of cigar, and I was like, and I will forever associate that stench with him.
Yeah.
Have you watched Better Call Saul?
You've asked me this several times.
Okay, I ask everyone several times.
So
he does.
I've seen the first 2 episodes maybe, and I couldn't get into it.
So they definitely show it in the first 2 episodes that they show Mike, the cop from Breaking Bad. They show that he's They show that he's working as a parking lot attendant, like he's in the booth.
Okay.
So that's like his thing for pretty much the series. It's like that's like one of his side hustles. He's just a parking lot attendant.
Okay.
Well, then they do in the last season. Then they do the time jump to the post Breaking Bad era, and it's the saddest thing. They show that parking garage, and the booth is still there, but everything's automated now.
Oh.
And I saw that. I'm like, oh, that sucks so much. Like that was like one of those, it was just one of those like subtle little like establishing shots where like if you'd watched like the whole series you would catch it. I saw it like, I don't know why this hits me.
Yeah.
But it does.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just thinking is when this cigar smoking guy eventually moves on, they're just going to automate the whole thing.
I mean, they should.
Who the hell wants to be a parking attendant?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm all in favor of automating ourselves out of jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually there will be no jobs for humans to do, and then we can just do whatever the hell we want.
You guys, we just totally Danny Bonaduce it. We just came full circle to the beginning of the episode talking about AI.
Danny Bonaduce!
So I mentioned I love Danny Bonaduce, and it's because on his radio show he just has this amazing ability to like start on a topic about like AI, for example.
Yeah.
And then for 45 minutes veer off to everything you can think of that is not about AI.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very end, somehow ties it all back to AI. Just as an example.
Okay.
So, and that's what, like, as a broadcaster, that's why I love Nate and Bonaduce, because he just has that ability.
Does that mean we have to stop now?
No, we can keep going. But
it's a great place to stop. Cut.
That would be the perfect way to end it, but no.
I'll bring it up again. Don't worry, guys.
Thanks, Nate. Where was I going with that? So Becky and I go to see the Wonder Years at the Palladium.
Nice.
Recently.
Love them.
Dude, that was such a fucking good show, too.
Yeah, they're great. The singer, I forget his name, but he is
Dan Campbell.
Yeah, he
Soupy.
is one hell. Yeah, Soupy.
Yeah.
One hell of a performer. What a guy.
Have you ever listened to Aaron West in the Roaring Twenties? That's his side project.
I've heard of it, but I have not listened.
He's just got such a distinct voice.
He does, yeah.
Such a whale. But that was an absolutely fantastic show. So afterwards, like everyone else, we parked at the MLK garage a couple blocks away from the Palladium.
Yeah.
Very big parking garage. Nobody realized, A, that you can pay in advance. You can pay when you get there. You don't have to pay when you leave.
Mm-hmm.
So we leave the show. Show's over. We leave. We see that there's a line at the self-service kiosk, and we're just like, whatever, let's just go rip a couple cigarettes and we'll come back down. So we come back downstairs. Now the line is literally out the door.
Yeah.
We're like, well, we're fucking idiots. And then some dude, like, as they're driving by, this guy's like leaning out his window screaming, someone broke the gate. The gate is up. You don't have to pay.
That's amazing.
And they didn't have, because normally they have attendants at, like, when there's events going on, they'll have an attendant there just to, like, kind of monitor stuff.
Yeah.
There's no one working that night. And some dude literally just went and just literally broke the gate. And it was not only up, but like backwards. And we were able to just get in our car, and there was just like, it was just a slow, steady roll out of the garage out, and I'm like, this is never going to happen again.
Yeah.
But this is amazing.
So I really like those automated things, because it's when you press the button and it gives you a ticket, it's like, take the ticket. Like, okay, I guess I'll take the ticket.
It's just commanding you.
Yeah, take the ticket.
There are people behind you, probably. Hurry up.
Yeah. It's a woman, so it's very demanding. It's like, take the ticket.
You don't want to piss her off. It's like the GPS voice.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right. So you got the next Emo Night coming up. That's on February 3rd.
February 11th.
February 11th. The one time I remember my ex-wife's birthday. Okay, February 11th. There we go. All right. At in downtown Worcester. Electric Haze. Thank you.
Correct.
Thank you, Nate.
Got you.
Fuck. I got to start writing these things down. I was trying to do it from memory. Okay, very good. Thank you, Aadam.
Yeah.
All right, we will return and we'll wrap this up with Mike Terrara's favorite segment, How Fucking Dumb Are You? Stick around.
Am I going to work there much longer? No, I'm not going to work there.
Hardly focused.
I'm a driver. I'm a winner. Things are going to change. I can feel it.
This is the end.
Hardly focused.
The end.
I have a feeling this is going to be a wee bit of a long ending segment of this episode of Hardly Focused. Really quickly, have you guys heard of the Moscow murders?
No.
No.
Okay. I won't spend too much time on this. Just the brief background is there's in Idaho, of all places, the most exciting place in the world, Idaho.
Of course.
Where what is Idaho known for?
Potatoes.
Sorry, guy. Can't make it. My mom's cooking potatoes that night.
So, in Idaho,
Potatoes.
And I think the city's called Moscow. There's a group of college-aged individuals, 4 of them, I believe, that were all murdered, and nobody knows who did it. It's even more bizarre is there were 2 other people in the house that like slept through the whole thing. just like woke up the next morning and just like realized like, oh, hey, everyone we live with is dead.
Interesting.
Well, that's weird. But I seriously think this is going to go down as like one of the great unsolved murders in American history, because the police are just like struggling to find anything, and they're just like, there's nothing going on.
When did this happen?
Last month, early November. Not to
Okay.
be confused with the band, the Early November.
Ooh.
Who played a very good show at the Palladium a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
But yeah, so I saw like a TMZ update about this because it's been national news. Like I was even watching like the local news earlier, and they were talking about it. But there's just this shroud of mystery around it, and no one knows. There's no suspects. There's like possible people of interest, but even the police are just like, we don't know. There could just be a killer out there in Idaho, just killing people that live in Idaho.
Well, I mean, there definitely is, right? I mean, if they didn't catch anybody.
Statistically.
Yeah. So now it's just waiting for, okay, when's the next one going to happen?
Ah, okay.
So they think this is how far they're grasping at straws here. They want information, any information the public can provide on the passenger that was in a white vehicle that might have been in the area around the day before the murders, because that might possibly lead them in a direction that could potentially maybe, but again, with a high grain of salt, find out who did this.
Wow.
So I feel like this is gonna be like one of those things you'll be watching a Netflix documentary about like 5 years from now, like the unsolved mystery of the Moscow murderers.
So it is the name of the town Moscow?
I think so.
Okay.
That part, that of everything that I've learned about this over the last few weeks, and disclaimer, it's because my Becky is like super, super into this. So now I'm into it by proxy. Like it's just talked about it enough that like, okay, now I have a vested interest in this.
Yeah.
Moscow, Idaho.
Interesting. Have you ever heard of the band Closure in Moscow?
I have.
Terrific
One
band.
of my faves.
Yeah.
Love them.
Nice.
Nobody does it like them.
Their latest album is very funkadelic, and I love it.
Is it out yet?
I could go. No. I mean, like the last one that they did. I'm looking forward to the one that they put out.
Oh, you're talking about Pink Lemonade.
Yeah, Pink Lemonade.
Yeah, it's weird, but I like it.
It is weird. A lot of people shit on it because it's a little bit like, what do you call that style of music? It's like kind of churchy,
avant-garde, maybe.
A little bit. I mean, it's got like that. Anyway.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I don't know, like gospel-ish?
Yeah,
Is that what you were looking for? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Like churchy, kind of like. I mean, that's like, yeah.
Okay.
I think it doesn't have a concept, but it definitely has a theme.
Yeah.
He talks about like, what do you call that? Brahma is a what is that, like
like Buddhist?
Yeah, a Buddhist
Brahmin,
god, right? Yeah.
Like the two-headed, is it like the two-headed cow?
Yeah.
Or something? I only know that because of Fallout.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Brahmins. Yeah. But Brahma is like a Buddhist god or something like that. But they use that term. I think he calls it a Brahmatron.
The Brahmatron song.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. He references that a bunch of times. So I think religion is like a sub theme of the album.
Yeah. I mean, First Temple.
Right.
Is their other album.
Yep.
They have a song on this one called "The Church of the Techno Christ."
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
First Temple is probably one of my favorite albums.
So
it's up
good.
there.
And it's
great.
interesting because I feel like it's kind of like an emo album. Like they hadn't quite slipped as deep into the weirdness yet. There's pieces of it there, but
the Penance and the Patience is definitely way more emo, like way more.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah. Like their first like EP or whatever. It's definitely got that like that sound to it. But
would you say
I don't know. I feel First Temple is kind of rockish, but it still has like the high vocals and everything. So
would you say like their sound has changed from album to album?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Not too much. I think it's a like a kind of a linear evolution. Like
I still like everything. That's like so far, like that's like the crazy part. It's like usually when bands go through that much change, it's really jarring and like it kind of sucks.
Yeah. No,
like they just kind of did their own thing and I liked it.
Yeah. I love everything they've put out. I hope the new album does well.
Me too. But yeah, so murder is
no, I'll segue away from murder.
Death.
No, I mean, once you started talking about it, I did hear about that story on the news. I didn't know it was like unsolved though.
I think it's just going to be unsolved. I think it's you're going to be watching a Netflix episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
Well,
where they're going to be talking about it.
Happen soon. Like I remember the week of what's her name, Gabby.
Oh, yeah, Gabby. I know. I'm blanking on her last name. Petito. Yeah.
Petito. Like I remember the week of like Hulu had like a special that was like I didn't watch it at all. It was just like the Gabby Petito files or something like that. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like this just happened and you're already producing like it kind of seemed gross, but they're probably going to do the same with this. Like I mean, people love murder shows and
yeah.
It's getting crazy.
This whole thing has its own dedicated subreddit, and all the people on it, Becky included, are all like, picture Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when he's trying to figure out
the cigarettes and he hasn't slept in a while and he's like mapping everything out.
Yeah, like colored strings attached to thumbtacks.
That's so good.
There is no Carol in HR.
God, I love
Great
It's Always
episode.
Sunny.
All right, time for Mike Jarrar's favorite segment. How fucking dumb are you?
Hardly Focused
presents.
Do you finger your own asshole just to smell your own shit? Like, I don't get it. How fucking dumb are you?
So I have 3 stories here, but I am actually going to pick the first one because I want to talk to Aadam about this one. So from Kotaku, the creator of Sonic the Hedgehog arrested for the second time.
What?
This time over Final Fantasy. This is the second time that Yuji Naka, the guy who created Sonic the Hedgehog, has been arrested for insider trading.
Damn it.
What?
And he's apparently like a giant asshole, like a maniac and an asshole, Yuji Naka. The guy that gave us one of the greatest video game franchises of all time, one of the like most like recognized video game mascots, and the guy is just a maniac.
Wait a minute. Insider trading on video games?
Yeah. Bought a bunch of stock in I think a mobile development company that was doing a mobile Final Fantasy game that I think it is getting shut down. It hasn't even been out for a year and it's already getting shut down. But he bought a bunch of stock in the developer.
Okay.
But because it was I might be totally wrong here. I'm not an expert in this in the least, but I think it's if you're doing it based on non-public information, then it's considered insider trading, and that's technically illegal.
Okay.
If it's based on public information, if you're buying stock because of something that the company has announced that they're doing, then that's okay. That's what people typically do. But if you're doing it even as like a competitor, or even if you work for the company and you're doing it, and it's like on the hush-hush download, don't tell anyone that I'm investing in this company because I think they're going to do well, that I guess is illegal.
Okay. I get that.
All they did it.
How do you prove that, though?
That's a good question.
How do you prove that your intention was because you had inside information? It's like, well, I wanted to buy up all the stock so that I could tank it because I hate them.
That's one of those things too that like I've had to do, at least in my last job, I had to do like twice a year trainings on like things like insider trading, like, be aware of it. Don't go out and buy stock because of this, because it's technically illegal. You can get fired or arrested.
Wow. Okay.
That's dumb.
So he's getting arrested in, I assume, Japan, right?
Yeah. I guess it's just as illegal over there as it is in the United States.
So can you get arrested if the insider information you have sucks?
I think you still can. Like, I think if you just once you go in and buy the stocks, I think then now you've committed the crime.
Yeah,
you lose so much money and then you get arrested.
Well, that's exactly what's happened here.
So I guess it makes sense if you buy more than you would normally. You know what I mean? You buy like a few stocks. Okay, it's kind of hard to prove that you did it from inside information. But if you're buying 75% of the stock, waiting for something to happen, then that's I guess a different story, right?
Yeah, this Kotaku article says they're talking about the second time that he's been arrested for this. The first time was not that long ago, only 3 weeks ago. He had been Yuji Naka, creator of Sonic the Hedgehog, had been arrested over allegations of insider trading in relation to the Dragon Quest series. Now they say less than a month later, it's being reported that it's happening all over again, but this time in regards to his allegedly purchasing shares in A-Team Entertainment just before it was made public in 2021 that they'd be creating Square Enix's ill-fated mobile game Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier, which was a battle royale type game.
So this makes sense. He gets inside information about Final Fantasy VII is one of the best RPGs of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you hear that they're going to do something related to one of the best RPGs of all time. You buy up a ton of stock. Whether or not it does well, that's not important. You bought a bunch of stock thinking that you were going to cash that in at some point.
Yep.
Based on the name of the allure of that RPG.
Yeah. It says the article says according to Asahi, I can't pronounce that at all. Thanks, Japan.
Give it a shot.
Asahi, sure. He's alleged to have paid 144.7 million yen, which is a little over $100 million USD, for 120,000 shares in A-Team. It's claimed he was arrested alongside another former Square Enix employee who was also said to have been arrested over the same thing.
Is he a former Square Enix employee?
He is. So he went to Square Enix and helped develop and release this incredibly terrible game that came out either this year or last year called Balan Wonderworld, which
sounds bad.
Yeah. Picture Nights into Dreams, but just bad, just terrible.
Okay.
Yeah, like the art style and the story and sort of like the setup was very similar to Nights into Dreams. There was a demo that was available on the PlayStation Store, and because I like Yuji Naka, I try everything he's come out with beyond Sonic. And I tried this demo, and I very rarely do I just stop playing something because it's just so bad. I'll try to soldier through it as long as I can. I stopped. It was just bad. Like the world looked cool, the graphic style looked cool, but there was like a system where like you would put on like masks or hats or something, and like each one would give you a different power, and it was just very clunky, and the powers were stupid, and I'm like, this is bad. There's no way this game is going to be good, and it came out and it was like critically panned across the board, and it turns out that Yuji Naka was actually fired from Square Enix like 6 months before the game came out because he was at a constant disagreement over the direction of the game. I guess he knew it was not going to be good.
Yeah.
And was eventually ousted. And then the game came out and it just isn't good. And what I love is it's called Balan Wonderworld, and people always call it Wonderland because you would expect Wonderland.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's called Wonderworld.
Huh.
But it's got the characters, everything you look at it and be like, all right, that looks like something from the guy that would do Sonic.
Right. Okay.
It's got the same like art style. But yeah, no, it was I forget the name of the company that developed it, but Square Enix published it. And that was like his one and only thing that he did with Square Enix.
I see.
Besides purchasing a bunch of stock in something related to Square Enix, related to Final Fantasy. So I brought this up because I need you to confirm this for me because I'm pretty sure it was you that asked me about this. The Sega Channel.
Yes.
Okay, that was you.
Yes, it was me.
All right. You're the only person I know that knows of the Sega Channel.
Yeah, I had it as a kid. It was so cool. And it's funny because people have said to me, like when I explain it, they're like, that's made up. That didn't happen. I'm like, yes, it did. Yes, it did. Look it up on Wikipedia.
Yep.
Yeah, you could get like an oversized, it almost looked like a 32X, but there was like a coaxial cable that plugged into it.
Did you see what I have on my kitchen table downstairs?
No, I didn't.
A 32X.
Is it a 32X?
It's a 32X. I found it a couple weeks ago.
Nice. Yeah. So it's like this big oversized thing that goes into the Sega, has a coaxial cable, obviously from the cable company, and they would give you like, I want to say like between 50 and 80 games a month, and they would rotate every month. It was really cool too because they were hidden games. So like I remember one day I was just kind of spamming the down key on the controller, and it like went down and the cursor disappeared. So I was like, that's weird. So I hit A and it brought up a game.
Nice.
That I don't remember what it was, but yeah, they had like hidden games, secret games. So like you could do like like weird little codes. I'm sure there was a way to look them up somehow, some way. But yeah, it was very cool.
Now, you weren't living around here, right?
No, I was in New York.
Okay.
Probably like 45 minutes north of New York City.
Because it was, if I remember correctly, Sega Channel was only available in like select like markets in the U.S. and I think New York was one of them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was like maybe it like did well in Japan and they wanted to test it out here.
Yeah,
and it just never took off. But the significance, the relevance of this is, what year was this?
Oh, that was 96. I want to say right around there.
Yeah. So this is like what you described now sounds like Game Pass, like on Xbox.
Yep.
But this is 96, and there's like a service over the then version of the internet that's doing this exact thing.
Right.
I learned about it because there was a Sonic game on there that was like a hidden gem that no one knew existed, and it was like a columns type game.
Columns. Like Tetris kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there is a Sega Genesis game called Columns, which is very similar to like Puyo Puyo Pop, Mean Bean Machine, Tetris, but it was it had Sonic in it, and it's considered like one of the most like obscure Sonic titles out there because you could only play it on Sega Channel.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I played it. So there was a bunch of Sonic games on there. I think that's how I got introduced to Sonic 3D Blast.
Hell yeah, I was playing that the other night.
It's a cool game, like definitely ahead of its time. I don't know if it's like a great games in terms of what else was out there at the time. Like I think that if they probably remade it, they could do it better. Just because 3D wasn't quite there yet, you know?
It was like pseudo 3D.
Exactly.
In that one.
Yeah, it was like isometric. Yeah.
That game, here's my trivia about it. Get ready, ladies. Get ready to get wet. So
I've been wet the whole time.
So Sonic 3D Blast was it was the last game that came out for the Sonic game for the Genesis, because the Genesis was like old technology at that point.
Yeah.
The fact that they could do something akin to 3D on that system was very impressive.
Yep.
So at the same time, the Sega Saturn had been out for a couple of years, and they did not have their killer app, a Sonic game that would be comparable to Mario 64, to Crash Bandicoot. They didn't. You would expect Sega to have a flagship Sonic game. Well, there was one in development called Sonic Extreme that, partially because of Yuji Naka, never came out. It languished in development and was finally canceled. The developers on the game, the two guys spearheading the project, literally nearly died of pneumonia trying to get this thing out the door. Geez. So they canceled Sonic Extreme and they did a port of Sonic 3D Blast onto the Saturn, and it's I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's actually a better version of it.
Oh, I didn't know that it's better.
Yeah, it's got like a bunch of like graphical enhancements. It's the same game, but it's just like it's got a completely different soundtrack. The special stages are absolutely phenomenal. Cool. They've like created one specifically for the game. It's it was like their sort of last ditch effort. Like, we need to put a Sonic game on this platform, and it unfortunately did not yield the results they were hoping it would. I mean, why would it? But it is the people call it like the more superior version of the game compared to the Genesis version. But then also the creator of the game, because it wasn't the company that the developer that did it went on. They're the guys that do all the Lego games, like Lego Star Wars, Lego Indiana Jones, all those games. So the guy who was the lead programmer on Sonic 3D Blast, came out with a director's cut a few years ago that you can just download, like get an emulator, get a ROM of the game, and then you can patch the director's cut over it. And it's like, this is the game I wanted to do.
That's neat.
Yeah. And he's like, I don't have any complaints about the game that came out. I'm just looking at him like, what could I do to make this better?
Yeah.
And he put in like a bunch of little things, including a level editor, so you can make your own level.
That's cool. That's very cool. So it's the Sega Saturn version that he did this with.
Genesis.
Oh, he did it with the Genesis version.
He did it with the Genesis version.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's got like you can play a Supersonic in it, which you couldn't do in the original version. It's got like a save system. There's a bunch of little like improvements and bug fixes that he went in and did. One of my favorite bits of video game trivia. So this was entirely intentional. They had to put something in the game, and I'm forgetting like the technical term around it, but basically Sega was like, we're gonna like we won't be able to release it unless you put this sort of, I think it's a crash handler or something. Like basically, if the game crashes, what do? There's got to be some sort of check that goes in there. We can't release it if you don't put this in there.
Okay.
So they programmed into it, if the game crashes, it automatically takes you to a level select screen with a message that says, congratulations, you've unlocked the secret level select. And I found that out one day because I raged at the game because I like died and I punched my Genesis.
Oh my God.
And all of a sudden it's like, congratulations, you've unlocked the level select. I'm like, that's amazing.
All you have to do is beat it a little bit.
Yeah, because you know, if you're hitting the Sega, you're effectively like dislodging the cartridge and it's going to crash. Well, this game, it was programmed that like, hey, I'm going to crash. Level select, here you go. Have fun.
That's funny. So, sorry, what was the name of the one that was exclusive to Sega Channel?
I need to look that up. I can tell you that in like 10 seconds.
But it's like a Tetris clone, right?
Yeah, it's just a generic, not like generic puzzle game, but like it's got Sonic and like all the characters in there. So like it becomes a de facto Sonic game.
Do you remember Sonic Spinball?
Oh, I was playing that the other night. I got the mini in the other room, the Genesis Mini. I was playing that.
Yeah, those it was actually a pretty good game.
It's called Sonic Eraser.
Sonic Eraser.
Yeah, and it looked like there's like a screenshot from it. But
oh wow,
yeah, it's just a puzzle game, but it's got Sonic sprites in it.
Wow,
from 1991.
Yeah, so that one doesn't ring a bell.
So another bit of trivia: when Sonic 2 was in development, the Japanese wanted to include a level that they called Genocide City Zone.
Whoa.
And the American team needed to tell them, hey,
whoa, can't do that.
Let me tell you what the word genocide means and what meaning that connotates. Eventually it was scrapped from the final product, but pre-release versions of the game exist out there, and you can see Genocide City Zone listed in this level select. So anyway, Sonic Spinball, the final level of the game, uses the art assets from Genocide City Zone.
Oh.
So it's nothing special, but it was revealed only within like the last decade. So one of the developers on the game was like, hey, you know this like really fucked up sounding level that you nerds are all excited about? Like we used it in Sonic Spinball. So Spinball is I love that game, but it's such a bad game.
You think so?
It's so janky and like, I don't know.
It's been a long time for me, so.
Oh, I played it a million times. I was playing it the other day. I'm like, I hate this, but I don't want to stop.
I mean, most Sonic games are janky as fuck, aren't they?
It depends on the game. It really depends on the game.
There's so many of them that just seem half finished.
Sonic CD is my favorite of the entire franchise. And the Japanese soundtrack for that, this was never confirmed, but it has a Japanese like soundtrack and then it has an American soundtrack.
Oh.
And the reason why they're different is because the Japanese sampled a fuck ton of songs for the music that they created for the game.
Interesting.
Including this, the band's called Xavier, but it's got George Clinton in it. And this plays during the boss battles with Robotnik.
Work that sucker to death. Come on now. Work that sucker to death.
Oh my God. I want more.
There's a whole video on YouTube where someone was picking out every single thing that they sampled, and like, lucky for me, half the shit that they sampled were all Stone Roses songs.
Nice.
Like all just drum beats and bass loops, and but they sampled a lot. And I think when they released it in the US, they're like, you got to redo the soundtrack, like
because of copyright laws.
Yeah, like we're gonna have some serious licensing issues. And then they ended up having that whole to do with Michael Jackson a few years later.
Yeah. So. That's so interesting because they're in another country. They're like, you can't get us.
Japan is great. Japan's just like, we're just going to do whatever. You guys nuked us. We're going to do whatever the fuck we want.
We get a pass.
There's nothing more cool than being hugged by someone you like. But if someone tries to touch you in a place or in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, that's no good.
No, it's not. It's not good. That's Sonic, right?
Yeah, it's when Urkel was voicing him on the cartoon.
Jeez, I didn't know that was him.
Yeah. No one knew that was him.
Stefan Urkel.
So there you go. That's my expansive knowledge of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay.
My parents are very proud of me.
So forgive my ignorance with this segment. I thought there might be like a Q&A, like how stupid are you? Are you going to ask us like a question that we like, and then you hit like a buzzer when we're wrong? Or?
Oh no!
It's just people doing stupid stuff.
So it's like, I'm ready for the question. I'm ready to be wrong.
This is one of those it's one of those things where you just like, you read the article and you read the story and like your first thought is like, how fucking dumb are you?
I get it.
So, for example, well, Adam, you're the guest here, so the other two that I had here on deck, so we could already do this. Man comments on most wanted post on Facebook, gets arrested. Or Sean Spicer makes Pearl Harbor blunder, which will live in infamy.
Say the second one again.
Sean Spicer, he was the former press secretary under Donald Trump, the first one.
Oh, God.
The guy who coined the term alternative facts.
Alt facts.
Makes Pearl Harbor blunder. Because today is technically the anniversary of Pearl Harbor, December 7th. Pearl Harbor blunder, which will live in infamy. So which of those two do you want to hear about?
You know, I really hate giving Trump or any of his fucking people any more press than they already have. So let's go with the first one.
Okay. Just quickly, he thought today was D-Day, which was June 4th, 1990 or 1944. It was June 1944 when D-Day happened.
Yeah.
And he was like, today is D-Day. Let's remember D-Day. And everyone was like, guy, you're stupid. There's no excuse on this one. You were literally just dumb.
You should know that if you're on a platform, talking about that.
Today, December 7th, is the anniversary of the September 11th attacks. Like, how do you try to excuse that you were wrong about that?
Yeah.
So this from ABC7NewYork.com. And again, the whole point of the segment is like, you look at this and you question, like, how dumb can this person be?
I get it.
So a Georgia man's comments on a sheriff's department Facebook post helped him to get arrested this week. The Rockdale County Sheriff's Office post of its, quote, most wanted list caught the eye of Christopher Spaulding, who was moved to comment, quote, how about me? The sheriff's office saw it and confirmed Spaulding had 2 outstanding warrants. And they posted the message, we are on the way.
I'm like, what was the post? Like, what was like?
It's a most
What did
wanted?
they say? Why did he say, how about me?
It's literally a list of like, they're on their Facebook page just posting like their, I guess like top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or maybe top 10 most wanted people. And like, if you have any information about this, call this number. And then this one guy is just like, how about me? Now, here's the part that kind of disappoints me is that he had active warrants. So he kind of, whether or not he was doing it intentionally, set himself up to get arrested. It would have been brilliant if this guy had a clean record, no warrants, said, how about me? And the cops are like, yeah, sure. And they arrest him. That'd be fucking brilliant.
I think we need to take a moment where we just, how dumb is this guy?
As of Sunday, Spaulding's comment had over 1,000 reactions on Facebook.
That's amazing. So he had warrants that were, I guess, unrelated to any of the fugitives that were.
He had like his own warrants, and I don't think they specified like what they were for. They could have just been something as simple as just like unpaid parking tickets or like something. But again, like whether or not he was doing it intentionally, it was just like, yo. And the cops are like, hey, it's you. Like, there's a warrant out for your arrest?
That's amazing. That's so good.
I crime.
I guarantee you, dude, I was just kidding.
Right.
I was just joshing. It was a joke. It was just a goof, man.
Serves him right.
Yeah, man, it would just been great if they just like, he literally just had a clean record and the police just planted evidence on him. Like, literally just go up to him and just, they take like a gram of coke in a little baggie and put it in his pocket. And like, guess what? You're holding.
Yeah. We got you now, you son of a bitch.
So there you go. That's the segment. That's it. That's what we do.
Sweet.
And just remember, today is the Pearl Harbor anniversary, not the D-Day anniversary.
Right.
I feel like I'm no better than Sean Spicer if I don't know the exact date that D-Day happened. June 6th, 1944.
Okay.
So
I am no history buff, so I would get both of those dates wrong.
Remember how we were talking about using switches on people if they're insolent?
Oh, yeah.
Well, my father would beat the ever-living snot out of me if I get any fact about World War II incorrect.
Oh, really?
He's one of those buffs.
Okay.
The history buffs.
Nice.
He's the type that, like, he would make me watch, like, History Channel documentaries with him where they just interview old, like, at the time, like, very, very old war veterans.
Okay.
Which, like, God bless them, but their war stories will put you to sleep.
Yeah.
And they always do the same thing. They all do the same thing when they're talking about, like D-Day happened on June the 6th, 1944. Like, that took you so long to say.
Yeah. I find World War II to be so fucking boring. Like, specifically World War II. World War I is way more interesting to me. I just feel like World War II has been, maybe it's because of all of the video games that came out.
Call of Duty ruined you.
Yeah,
Medal
there's
of
just
Honor.
so many. I mean, there has to be 50 or more, right?
Oh,
Like-
yeah.
Like, how many games can you make about a single war?
And they're still doing it.
They really, really are.
I guarantee you in 5 years we'll have another Call of Duty game about World War II. Because I think that was the last one that came out, was Call of Duty World War II.
Like, what the hell, guys?
Very rarely do they touch Vietnam, for example, or like the Gulf War or any of that.
Yeah.
I think Battlefield did a World War I game a few years ago, but like you don't see anything about that. It's always World War II.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, I think it might be called Desert Storm. There's a helicopter game on Sega and Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo.
Oh, Desert Strike.
Desert Strike.
Yes.
Such a good game.
Yeah.
Oh, loved that game. Me and my dad would play that a lot when I was a kid.
What do you think about like Vietnam War though? Like that one just seemed like it was just like very brutal.
Oh yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's like one of the things is like a common villain is a Nazi and like people feel good about killing Nazis and everything like that. So it's like the perfect trope for a video game.
Yeah, it's like a feel good thing. Like you don't have to feel bad about it. They're legitimately bad.
Well, that's like Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
That's another good game.
So people like with I was seeing this on Reddit where people are griping about the last couple of Wolfenstein games that came out because like people are just leaving comments like, "Oh, I'm never going to support Bethesda with their woke agenda, with their left-wing messages about," and like you guys realize the game is about killing Nazis.
Right.
Like in complaining about this, you're kind of giving yourself away.
Right.
If you're offended about a game that is all about killing Nazis, you're Kanye.
Yep.
Yeah. You're Kanyeing us right now.
That's really just it. There's no defense.
You're yeezing us.
Because I've been watching a lot of The West Wing lately, and Martin Sheen being in Apocalypse Now. There's just this great scene that's on YouTube of him just coming across like two soldiers who are trying to like one by one take out a bunch of like Viet Cong in a jungle.
Okay.
And it's just great exchange where Martin Sheen's just like, "Who's your commanding officer?" And the soldier just turns and looks at him, just goes, "Well, ain't that you?" Like they just didn't give a fuck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they just didn't care. That was a great movie.
So I feel like a war that we haven't really touched much, if at all, in video games is the Civil War.
I was just about to say,
are there any Civil War video games? I feel like that would be a lot of fun because I feel it I might be wrong about this in terms of like history, but isn't that like right where they invent or started using machine guns? It was like the first machine guns ever were used in the Civil War. Well, maybe not ever, but they were used in the American Civil War.
I'm looking this up right now.
And they were stationary. You couldn't. It was a machine gun that you had to like set up.
Okay, so I've never heard of any of these games. That's how it is. There's a game that came. The first Civil War video game that came out was in 1989. It's called North and South.
Probably sucks.
Yeah, and then there's But I haven't heard of any, like Darkest of Days,
Nope.
Scourge of War,
Nope.
Viet Afghan, Ultimate General, War of Rights, Grand Tactician, The Civil War, Battle Cry of Freedom. There's literally nothing.
No AAA titles.
No, 2 of these games are sponsored by the History Channel.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's nothing. Like I was thinking maybe like, I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2 is kind of like, you know, in the post Civil War era, like very soon, maybe like 30 years removed from the Civil War.
Yeah.
In the South. Assassin's Creed 3, I think, is like the American Revolution. So
yeah,
about 100 years prior. But yeah, there's not. It's really just World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm saying Nazis are like the ultimate, like, don't feel bad about it. Like, I feel like now, even if they had like a left versus right based game, people would still feel kind of weird about it.
A left versus right game,
like far right versus
politically?
far left. You know, like
a MAGA hating game.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, I mean it wouldn't sell, right? It's too close to home.
Oh, there'd be a lot of controversy around it, for
Right.
sure.
That's what I'm saying. Is I feel like there'd just be too many conflicted feelings with it. You
Call-
can't really have conflicted feelings about killing a Nazi.
I do like that Call of Duty, like, if they're not doing World War II, then they're just inventing wars.
Yeah,
like
they
in the
really
future.
are.
They've
Yeah,
had
they
like
really
3
are.
games that are going like far into the future where we're like, they're like space battles and, you know, World War III already happened and it's like the post-apocalyptic, but now everything's like super futuristic and
yeah.
all this like post-apocalypse prosperity. Like it makes no sense whatsoever.
I will say conceptually, I feel like Black Ops, like that was like the Cold War, right? Like
It was.
80s.
Yeah.
It was, not anymore, right?
I
Black
think
Ops.
I feel like the first one was Vietnam. The first Black Ops was Vietnam, and then they transitioned into the Cold War era to the point where the last Black Ops game was literally called Black Ops Cold War.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I played the first Black Ops.
Yeah.
But you know what the first game of the Black Ops series was? It wasn't Black Ops. It was World at War, which is a World War II game.
Fucking A. It's so wild.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to me. It's kind of like Hollywood with reinventing movies over and over and over again.
Well, just wait until next year. See what the next Call of Duty is, because we get one every year. They're not stopping.
World War II in space.
World War II Part 2. The World War II inning.
Yeah.
Judgment Day. What if we nuked Japan 3 times?
We're gonna nuke Japan again.
And again.
Again.
They just keep nuking us. They won't stop.
There's nobody to nuke anymore.
We're running out of cities.
Yeah.
Oh dear. All right. That is a sure sign that it's time to end the show.
One more thing. You have to read a thing.
Oh shit. Here we go. You're truly Danny Bonaduce-ing it. All right. So Nate brings to us one more AI generated tale. Okay, here we go. Jack and Sonic would get along great. They'd have lots of fun together, racing each other, playing video games, and exploring new places. They'd also be able to share their stories and experiences with each other, which would be a great way for them to bond. They'd also have a lot of fun competing in various competitions, such as races or sports. And then we just fuck all the time.
All of the time.
A whole lot of fucking.
There's nothing more cool than being hugged by someone you like. But if someone tries to touch you in a place or in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, that's no good.
A whole lot of butt play with Sonic.
Work that sucker to death. Come on now. Work that sucker to death.
Amazing.
This is a little too wholesome.
I love it.
A little bit.
All right. Very good. Aadam, thank you for being here.
Of course.
Thank you for doing this. Would love to do it again.
Yeah,
as always.
anytime.
Nate, thank you for staying up late.
Oh, no problem.
I appreciate it.
It's great talking to both of you.
Yeah, good to see you, man.
Likewise.
And for the rest of you, we will talk at you next time. Thank you for listening. See you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Privatization may not have happened.